Hello, this is Gio again, continuing with my glass replacement project. Last time we removed the glass very carefully, tried to clean it up and vacuumed as carefully as we could so we didn't cut ourselves. Unfortunately, I did not cut myself. But the next step would be to remove the original glaze. The way the glass was originally placed, this is the original wood. And this here is not wood, it's actually old glaze that's been painted. And this stuff will be removed. And you have to carefully chisel this out so you can put the new paint against this wood and then reapply the glaze. And then the glaze will harden to a very, very hard consistency and hold in the painted glass. So removing this glaze will be our next step. Alright, so removing glaze is somewhat easy. But can be still very difficult. So I never seem to do a good job. But the first step is just get a nice little blade and just see if it will actually just, by putting it into the groove, see if it will just pop out. If you're lucky, it'll just pop out nice and easily like this. You want to be a little careful, you don't want to ruin the paint on the other side. But this is basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to clean off this glaze very carefully. Be very careful not to pull up the wood. It's very easy. The glaze really sticks really tightly to the wood, and sometimes when I'm scraping like this, I've peeled up the wood and have damaged the paint, the frame itself. But so you're just trying to scrape off the glaze. So again, just try to pop it up very gently. Be very careful with the wood. And just slowly move. Now, I have encountered something differently. The glaze, you're not just scraping off the glaze, you're actually also removing these little nails. In this case, it's like a little triangular nail, which actually this originally held the glass in, and we're going to be using these later on as well. Not this shape, but a different type of little fastener. But these, when you originally put the painted glass against this wood, you used the original contractor or whoever installed the window used these to temporarily hold the glass in place. So these held the glass in place long enough so you can glaze. So you're going to be encountering probably at least a handful of these that you have to take out carefully. So don't be surprised when you encounter these. So and remove every one of these you find. So just be very careful removing these. Sometimes you'll need to use your hammer to chisel some of this out. Again, I've been known to damage the wood doing this, so be very careful when especially when you're hammering. The glaze can be pretty brittle. The more brittle it is, sometimes the harder it is to get out because it just doesn't come out. Like in this case, it's not really popping out like the earlier stuff did on this side, and so you have to use your hammer to pop it out. And again, I've encountered another one of these nail fasteners. Pop them out. You don't want to keep them in because then you won't be able to get the new piece of glass back in. So this might be one of the longest parts to the project, although this video won't be as long, because it takes a long time to clean out all this glaze very carefully, and you have to do it all the way around this. Underneath here, this could be a challenge as well, since my upper glass doesn't move. It's been painted shut, but you have to take all this glaze out and all the way around. And so this can take quite a while. This will probably take at least, I'd say, about an hour to do. So I will touch base when I'm done. Okay, so I've cleaned up all the glaze. most of it was easy. It probably took me about 45 minutes altogether. The hardest part was this part up on top. I had to get a little tiny chisel, kind of like to chisel through there since I have a limited space, but I finally got it cleaned enough. Basically, the main goal, other than just getting it as clean as possible, is to get it clean enough so when you put in the painted glass, it's not on some kind of a bump with remaining glaze, and then you could smoothly put in the new painted glass. So those little fasteners, those nail fasteners that I saw, there was probably about 3 on each side. I would say that's typical. Sometimes you would see 2, sometimes maybe 2 on the bottom, 1 on each side and 1 on top. Depends on the installer's preference. Basically what those are for is, again, to hold the pane in place long enough for the glaze to set, which can take quite a while. Usually takes maybe a good week before the glaze is in really hard condition. So those nails really come in handy to hold the pane in place. So our next step is to measure out the frame size and buy our piece of new glass to install. So see you next time.